So guys, is it really worthwhile for an age group triathlete to be tested from a coach who is more data driven, so with lactate and spiroergometry, so respiratory measurements and with the blood to reach the goal? Or is it also, or even better, to work with a coach who is more an empathic, intuitive coach and works with those strengths? What's going to be better for long term? Please stay. So I have met many athletes coming to me with a lot of data and reports and stuff like that. I don't work with that. I don't need it. I work with my intuitive power. So I tell them I don't need those data sheets, and surprisingly we have very great results. So sometimes hard for them to understand, coming from a coaching that has been, testing and kind of reaching the goals, but then you go to another coach, no testing and better results. So I have to do it my way, okay? So let's start and compare those two coaches a little bit and find out for you, what should you choose, what type of person you are, what should you choose to help and reach the goal. So for a diagnostician-based coach, he needs to test you as much as possible. The best would be every day, like Francesco Moser in 1984 with Conconi. They broke the 50K 1 hour record, and they tested every day. They knew exactly where they were. Okay, a little bit tired, a little bit like this, so let's do this type of training to reach the goal. Or nowadays, the Christian Blumenfeld, the Norwegian team around Eden, they are testing also on a weekly basis. Okay, so in cycling, cross country, there is no choosing. You can't be a professional athlete and say, I want just to have an intuitive, empathic coach. No, you will be tested, okay, on an every day. But this is professional sport. Professional sport and age group athletes is two different sports. Okay, this you have to understand. So the goal then on an empathic, intuitive coach would be more that he lives with the athlete, he smells like the athlete, he sees the athlete, he tries to read his face, he tries to understand why he chooses that and that. So then they can kind of figure out how to really work their way together as a team. So let's make some calculations. If you are a triathlete and you're choosing a more data-driven coach, we have 3 disciplines. 2 we can really test really well. So let's say you're testing every 6 weeks. 52 divided into 6 times 2 is about 17 tests per year, 200 euros. So you're investing about 3,500 euro to be tested. Okay, that's the one part. It starts with the testing. But what goes along with the testing is that you are doing to 90%, that your training complies to 90 to 100% to all given training, like what, pull, speed, how you run on. You need to follow the nutrition plan. You need to follow the recovery measurements that you're doing with this coach in all 3 disciplines. So rule of thumb is we cannot just beforehand know what athlete A will do if I'm applying this type of training, because he will be different from athlete B. So this coach needs at least 6 to 12 months to really understand what triggers what in an athlete. So a performance diagnostician coach needs 6 to 12 months to understand why athlete A, for example, made a good development in strength and speed, but could not lower VO max on the bike. Athlete B, for example, could higher his fat max wattage output, but on anaerobic threshold value in running, for example, he lost. He gained in strength and stamina and swimming, but lost on other areas. So there's a lot of crossover. And if you really want to understand those crossover connections with data, it's very complex. And you need to be with the athlete and test him a lot. So So far so good. Now just imagine, instead of being done 17 tests per year, and now I'm jumping into the field of reality. The reality really is 90% of the market tests of those athletes, they test 1 or 2 times a year. You know, I don't know why they're doing it. It's very sad. But what can you find out if you test 1 or 2 times a year? I mean, if you don't know the behavior, if you don't know what has this athlete really trained in those last 8 weeks before testing, so we don't really know. We don't know nothing. We maybe know the last 4 minutes. Yes, you can do 10 watts more, but what is 10 watts more on the last 4 minutes interval? What will this apply to of an Ironman, a fat max measurements, or transport into the running? So 1 or 2 tests a year will not say not much. So you are a triathlete and you chose a data-driven coach, but you will only go 1 or 2 times a year for testing. And usually those data-driven coaches that come more from this side, they don't really have the strength to be intuitive, to feel the athlete. They are more data-driven, very concrete, very straight. You know, they're trying to analyze the person. So I think then you will lose double time, you know, because you're not delivering 17 tests, and this guy cannot really read your motivation and stuff like this. So therefore, I mean, it's great, it boosts your ego if you're doing those tests and you can see that you actually improve. But again, we don't know why, for example, you have 0.44 VLO max. We don't know why your fat max is 215 watts. And that's just because 2 tests is not enough. It will never be enough, okay? Never, never. Nobody can change that, you know. We need a lot of testing every week, you know. Every second day, every third day, to really to combine the whole pictures together. Okay, so, and also, if you're doing 1 or 2 tests, just imagine the big variety of training that you can do. How much fat max training did you do? How much tempo? How much strength? How much speed? How much recovery? How much coordination? How much G1, G2 did you do? I mean, how much did you actually eat? On tempo, you maybe ate 80 grams. On the fat max stuff, you maybe ate 30 grams. So all those information he cannot understand. Okay? We don't know about your muscle mass. We don't know how much weight has been gone. So in absolute figures, we don't know really how much fat mass you have lost, how much muscle mass you have gained. So to really understand the whole thing, you need a nutrition plan. You know, you need to record everything, and after you have done it, you need to go back of the recordings and really understand what has me gotten from A to B. Okay, so it's much more trickier than you really think it is. You just don't walk to a yearly checkup to the doctor and you have your blood tested and that's all you do. So you have to understand why you have the results. The results itself is secondary. Why you have and how you have done it. So don't get me wrong here on this point. Okay, if I was a pro triathlete born again, I would do as much testing as possible. First of all, I'm an emotional guy. I can get lost on those easy trainings. I need hard data. You know, I need to know, Roy, you're going this, because that guarantees us that you don't produce any lactate and stuff like this. And B, I'm very impatient. And impatience is the worst characteristics of a personality to develop endurance. So those two, you can really work on if you have a testing team in the background. So okay, so on the other side of the scale, you have those empathic, intuitive coach that reads your eyes, you know, and he probably says, go out medium, you know, go out medium. The medium on that day may be 200 watts. On the other day, it would be 235 watts. So is this coach now unprecise? Is he doesn't do the right coaching, because it's such a big variety. Maybe 200 watts is GR1, 235 watts is already GA2. So what's he actually doing? Let me give you an example to explain this principle. I've had an athlete in the Corona time, this virus time, because of fear, what will happen with his company, because of uncertainty, of competition. This guy lost on the bicycle, I saw it, 30 watts. It's a classical age group athlete, top 10%. He lost 30 watts on the bicycle over an hour, and he lost about 5 to 7 seconds per kilometer on a 10K within days. Okay, within days. He wasn't sick. He didn't have any injuries. He didn't feel any pain. So he just lost the energy. So where did this energy go? Where did it actually go? You know. So in this case, isn't it paradoxical that we don't know where this energy goes? Isn't it life kind of strange to explain why 1 + 1 not always makes 2, correct? You know? So how can he lose so much energy, so much power within days without being sick or having an obvious problem? He just lost it. Okay, so now let me explain something, what I think the case is. The ratio an athlete works, so the energy level he has, the efficiency an athlete is about 25%. So from the 100%, I'm standing here, I can deliver to my paddles, to the road, about 25% of energy to move forward. So data-driven coaches focus on those 25%. Within those 25%, they're looking at data. An intuitive, compassionate coach looks more on the 75%. Hey, this guy is 100% together, okay? So he focuses on the 75%. So the rest, the rest that an athlete needs to maintain breathing, digesting, whatever you need to do. So he's more on that side, and that's a big range. So if the efficiency of an athlete is only 25%, why? For me, it's clear I'm focusing on the 75% first to deliver the 25%. So please think about this principle in the future a little bit more about those 75%. What's in those 75%? In those 75% for me, when I watch an athlete, for me, I will study this guy. I will listen. What's his feedback? Where is he stressing his feedback? How is his sleep quality? How is his mood behavior? How is he focused? How is he ready to get some pain? How is he ready to train? How is his readiness to train? How is his eating habits? Has he lost weight, gained weight? Is he available for me when I'm contacting with my guys? All of my 30 athletes that I'm coaching, I'm regularly meditating and I'm trying to observe where they are, so I get a picture what's really taken them. So what's taken them? The 75% area is that. I can't check at the moment I cannot check the quality of the training. I don't know how they perform. I have to look at perfect pace, but I can sense where they are on the 75% part. So when I do my meditation, get connected to my athletes, that's where I'm focusing on, So this would be more the coach. I'm more the coach ascent type of coach, So being in the right now, So the walk with the athlete with this type of coaching would be more important than anybody else, than everything else. Okay. So of course, an ideal setup, if I could choose coming back as an athlete, of course I will select my Zen master, and I will have, a diagnostician behind my back to have me tested, So. Of course, but those types and that combination is pretty expensive. So Not really happening in age group triathlon. Happens on the professional sports level, of course. So, now let's be clear. As an athlete, if you're going for a successful coaching, you need to understand one very important point. Don't choose any coach if you cannot do exactly what he or she is telling you to do. You are obliged to deliver feedback as good as you can. Otherwise, coach can never guide you. He doesn't know where you are. Okay? Only then he can make the plan for you. He can observe and oversees your potential and triggers you on the mental side, and maybe also what I'm doing on the personal side to really develop also personality. Because personality in long-term racing is very important. Be calm at the right time, be aggressive at the right time, play a game on some parts in the race, bluff around on this part in the race. It's very important because it's a game, it's a play. For me as a coach, I don't work with athletes who don't trust in their lives. I don't work with athletes who don't have a good, warm feeling towards their future. I'm not talking about 100% being all ready to go, but if the athlete cannot trust in his destiny and cannot say, yes, I think that's a correct life I'm getting, how can he ever trust the coach? He will always have a hard time. He will always ask questions. He will always mistrust. He will focus on things that he doesn't need to focus on. So, as a coach, you have to really choose the athlete who can walk with you. I'm not talking for whole life. It's not a relationship. So it's a walk, maybe 6 months, 12 months. But in that time, the rules must be clear. So let me give you a little story at the very end. I was running Newton shoes since 2011-12. At that time, they really produced the best shoes on the market, I believe. I was just flying, when Greg Alexander won Ironman at that time. Newton really was the best shoe for me. So I chose the shoe, kind of always waited for a remake. The company had some troubles, never really brought up another shoe, a nice new shoe. So I was still running around like an ex-athlete does, running around with old shoes. Until the point I saw this guy having his shop selling shoes, doing really good stuff. I knew this guy is it. So I gave him a call, said, Tobias, please, I wanna have a new shoe. And I'm not going to the internet to select those types of shoe checking pricing. Just said to him, please select a new shoe. And I had a very good feeling towards him. So he said, send me 2 videos from the front, from back, from the side. I will select. What's your size of feet? I did it 3 days later. I had the shoe in my house, and it's a beautiful shoe. It's a beautiful shoe. What's the point in this story? The point of the story is you make it happen. It's not the outside that delivers the wrong shoe, it's complicated life, it's blah, blah, blah. It's your decision that you are taking, and with this decision that you took, before you reacted, you already received the result. So, please, it's a little bit philosophical now, I love it. I would like to talk much more on this subject. Anyway, it's a difficult subject. I'm not saying what's better, what's wrong. Please think about this and give me some inputs, what you think about it. And also, if there is somebody out there who really knows about this subject, about where this energy of this athlete went within 2 days, 30 watts and 7-8 seconds, where did this energy go? I would love to have some feedback from that person. All right, so talk to you soon. The few last videos I did was in the Corona time. I had some extra time. I will have a break now. I have to get back to business. I will be producing more videos. It's coming, but please be a little bit patient. Need to do some other stuff, but I will be back. Thank you guys for watching. Write some comments. Subscribe my channel. Thank you. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. This is my book Triathlon Total in the 4th edition, 470 pages for $28.95. Check it out.